Ouch.
No piece of art is worth a human life.
Hey everybody, welcome to MaffmanJones Movie Reviews. I am John Maffio, and today's featured movie is a newly directed movie by Danny Boyle known as Trance. Trance stars James McAvoy, also known as Professor X, Rosario Dawson, and the creepy guy from Black Swan, Vincent Castle. The plot revolves around James McAvoy's character, who auctions off paintings, and he's intrigued by one particular painting, so he decides to steal it with the help of some criminals. But after a terrible situation transpires, he is diagnosed with the amazing plot device known as amnesia. So now the criminals must hire a hypnotist, played by Rosario Dawson, to extract the location of the painting in James McAvoy's mind. And thus we begin the mind fudge. I do like my chocolate. Just want to point something out before I go in depth with Trance. I am a fan of Danny Boyle movies. I love 28 Days Later, and I am a fan of some of his other later works. But this film in particular was a very bewildering experience. Commencing with the aspects I did enjoy, I think this movie had a very intriguing premise. Within the first few scenes, I became engaged within the story and the characters within the story for a while. Above all else, the cinematography was stunning. There was a great use of tilting and panning and camera positioning, and it just seemed like a signature movie for Danny Boyle, like he usually does. He always puts his signature traits in his films. There was also a really nice utilization of depth of field, and I love when movies use depth of field with their cinematography. I also really dug the fast-paced style of the editing, and I thought the score was very mesmerizing, yet extremely powerful for what it was. It wasn't memorable, but it sticks in your mind, and it's very bombastic in a very electronic way. Seeing that this movie is based around hypnotism, this film does do a very good job of making you feel entranced. Get it? Trance, entrance, ha ha, not funny. Before I get into the faults I have with this film, I do want to say that overall I did feel very hypnotized by the movie, and it was a very extremely bizarre experience. On my way home, I actually questioned to myself, do cows moo or do they bark? Do animals stand on 4 hind legs or do they stand on 2 like humans? And do clowns have souls? Just a few of many, many questions that were spiraling through my cranium system. The acting all around was pretty solid. Everybody gave a good performance, but the standouts are definitely James McAvoy and Rosario Dawson. James McAvoy really makes you believe the journey that he's going through in this movie, and you can never really tell if he's sane or insane, if his mind is twirling in circles, or if it's actually straightforward, and it was actually really impressive. And Rosario Dawson was perfect for the hypnotist character because her voice is so soothing. Oh, she's so sexy. But that's aside from the point, I digress. Her character at first is very vague, mysterious, and cryptic, and she's the most interesting character for the most part in this movie. Now let's get into what brings the movie down for me personally. Again, I thought the whole movie was very entrancing, and I thought that the whole movie had a good approach. But after the first half, the second half loses the steam that the first one builds up upon. At some point during the second half, the film tripped over stone and fell into quicksand, and it just couldn't quite get out of that quicksand. That was a weird Indiana Jones type metaphor. It never delved into a realm of dullness, but it just lost its way and it lost its direction. It felt like there was a lack of coherency, and I thought the movie was getting too complex for its own good. Also, I did mention before that the acting was really good, and I thought James McAvoy was really impressive with his acting chops, but I thought the character that he plays was hard to get behind. I mean, he didn't have a real motive, and there was no reason why you should get behind this character and feel sympathy for him. Like I mentioned before, with the over-ambitious complexity, I think the movie gets frustratingly confusing in the middle half towards the later half. Unfortunately, that frustration faltered my experience and took me out of the movie a little bit. And finally, I felt that the payoff and the final revelation for the plot wasn't satisfying. So overall, Trance isn't a poor movie, and I'll give it the benefit of the doubt because with a couple extra viewings, maybe the quality will increase. The movie had good intentions. Some of the story elements just don't come together the way I would have liked them to. The execution overall, story-wise, is pretty subpar, but visually this movie is fantastic. Finally, the verdict stands as a full-course Applebee's meal that you've never tried before, a 3 out of 5 stars. And what I mean by the later half of that rating is that if you happen to go to Applebee's one day and they have a new option, sushi, and you never had sushi before, you're like, you know what, I'm going to try sushi. So you get sushi and you try it and you're like, well, I don't know what to expect. And you can get something really cool or something really And for me, this was just in the middle. If you have seen Trance or you plan to see Trance, let me know anything about this movie or Danny Boyle in the comments down below. Please subscribe to MaffmanJones, like this video, and check out Facebook, Twitter, and Wheel of Film in the info box. I am John Maffio from MaffmanJones Movie Reviews, and hypnotism is a crazy mofo. See you next time.
I have something to tell you. You ready?